Hello and welcome to day 11 of our JUNEwary challenge 2025, working on Stephen Dunstone's Autumn Mist. We are now looking at the top of this second page. Remember, we've been learning it starting at the end for this one. And we are looking at bar 17. And at this point in time, we would have, remember we've been putting on these F sharps ready to be going back to the beginning. So those F sharps would already be on. So lever-wise, I've got my B flat and E flat set, but I also have those two F sharps, just the F above middle C and the F below middle C. So at the beginning of this section, those are on. I'll play this line for you first, and then we'll break it down in a similar way that we've been thinking about it so far. Here we go. It goes like this. And then we would take our levers off. And notice how, depending on your harp, on my harp, whilst putting them on needs to be kind of individual, when I take them off, I can go and do them both at the same time because of where they are. You can work that out for your harp. It can be really handy. I don't know if you're aware of loom bands, the little tiny elastic bands that people make bracelets out of. They can be really handy to mark up your levers if they don't have any markings on and you want to quickly spot where they are. They can be very useful things as well. Okay, so I've got them on at the moment. Let's look at the sort of chord structure of this. So until this point, we've been really based in the key of B flat, and our home note was the B flat chord, and we moved around from there. This first section of the piece that we're now going into is in the related minor, the relative minor. And the relative minor from B flat, if I count down 3, including my B flat, 1, 2, 3, that gets me to G. So G is the related minor. And the relative minor would therefore sound like this. Okay, and then if we're thinking about that being the home chord, and then we wonder, right, where's chord 5? Because that's the next most important chord. So chord 1 is G, so counting up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully, like me, you've landed on a D. So my D chord is my chord 5, bringing me back at the end. So nicely resolving with a cadence, we call it, resolving back to this G minor home feel. So our chords underneath are a G chord, and again we're separating it much like we have so far, where the left hand has the octave in the fifth and the right hand completes the top 3 notes of an arpeggio. Okay, we then move down to the D and do the same shape. So notice my hand, just for demonstration purposes, has just stayed open like that to show you. And then we come back to G. And our left hand can jump over and repeat those top 3 notes, the B, the D and the G, with a tarium, a little rolled chord. Okay, so that's what's going on. Should we try that together? There's going to be notes above for our melody that's going to sing out, but initially, just to feel where we are, let's do those chords. So nice and steady, we're going to do a G chord, maybe give that a little squeeze, moving down to the D. So do that move, give it a little squeeze, coming back to the G with your left hand then jumping over to the exact same shape that your right hand is currently holding, but up above, an octave higher. Okay, so once you've walked through that, we'll go back to our original G chord, and I will count you in and we'll just play through this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Down to the D. And coming back for the G. And moving over. Okay? And as ever, we don't want to play the G and then be looking for the D. We want to be moving that left hand to where it goes next, while the other hand's playing, and so on with the other hand. Getting ready all the time. Okay, always preparing ahead. It's going to be affected a bit by what else is going on, but by implanting that now, so that you're thinking about heading down there. It's going to help even if we've got to leap up first, because it's going to build in, well, yes, after that chord, that's where the next chord needs to be. Okay, so we then have this melody that's going to sing out above. We've got a G and a B, which will be played by the right hand. And we're going to play that really nicely just together. So really making sure that those are coming off the strings neatly together with a lovely high thumb, low finger. Okay, and really see, have you bent that finger in? Has the thumb gone right over? Okay. Then your left hand is going to play, it's going to repeat the B note because your other hand is going to be down here. Then the right hand's coming down to the F and the A. So it's only a step down from where it was, but much like on previous days, it will have been filling out a chord in the meantime. So we have the F and the A in this second bar. Then our left hand's going to take over those two notes, and then the right hand's going to do B and G, filling out our G chord. Okay, so that's what we need to hear singing above the other patterns, but it's which is playing what. So you might initially, to build this up, and this is like the very first line we learnt back on the 7th of June. It's the same idea as that, where we have ripples going on, but our left hand's got to take over some of the melody. This is the only other line that's like that. So once we've done these two, you've done the two hardest lines. And I don't like using the word hardest, but you know, the ones that require the most concentration. So that's nice to know, isn't it? So you could practice, you could go, okay, let's get our hands on the beginning of bar 17, got the G and the B, G, D, G in the left, and we could just practice going, just to make sure my right hand's happy to go down. In fact, we could go. So what I did there was I played all of the ripple parts and then only the right hand parts of the melody, which was the beginning of each bar. I ignored what the left hand was meant to be jumping up to do. And if you were playing in a group, you could absolutely do that, and you would still be adding to the ensemble. And in fact, it sounds quite nice. B, A. Yeah? So if someone doesn't know the piece, it would still work and sound absolutely appropriate. We would like to add these extra notes in. So now if we'd have a go from 17, you might just practice in a chunk. You might do the beginning of that bar. Let your left hand, jump over, which would be on that note. So it would be there. And just get as far as here and let yourself rest. So if we try that in time, so I'm going to basically play a bar and a half. So I don't have to keep thinking ahead and sort of panicking at all about anything that's coming up. I can just deal with that moment. So beginning of bar 17, I'll count you in, but we're only going to play a bar and a half. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, so I'm stopping there just so that I'm not giving my brain too much to think about. And I might do that a few times. And then I might go, okay, let's actually add in what's coming next. And maybe what I'll add in would be just putting the next right hand part in. And then I might add in the left hand over that, like this. Let's see how I'm doing with that. And then I might build into, or I might just do that last bit. Just keeping on building the structure into what's coming next, and again, then we want to think about it singing out. Okay, I wasn't expecting you to play along with that go there, just wanted you to hear the melody coming out over the top of that ripple. Okay, so plenty to be going on with on this line, but it's using the skills that you used back on day 7, and that's kind of, this is why I wanted to do this piece, especially in this reverse way, because hopefully now that doesn't feel as daunting as it might have done if we'd sort of set ourselves up with all the nice straightforward stuff and then suddenly, pow, here it was. So I believe in you. You've got this. Join me on the play along, and I will do a really, really steady version of this one, and then we'll move it a bit further forward. Do remember, I mean, I haven't done it there, remember to change the F levers at the end of that line. So I've written it in on my part, F natural in big, even though it says it above, just as a reminder. Okay, so do train your brain into that, much like we've been training ourselves to put the F sharps on at the end of the page. Okay, join me on the play along. Keep it up. Well done.